Welcome back to the Michigan Business Beat, brought to you on the Michigan Business Network. Chris Holman here in our downtown Lansing studios. And on the other end of our line right now is Brad Williams, Vice President of Government Relations for the Detroit Regional Chamber of Commerce. And Brad, it's good of you to join us. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Chris. I appreciate you making time for me.
Well, listen, the messages that you carry, and actually, you know, after a couple of days in D.C. and the confusion there, I think I'm glad to hear about our state government and what's going on. It seems to be a little more predictable at this point. But one of the things that is kind of a wrench in the machine right now is this budget process. Where do you feel? How are you assessing that?
Well, I think we entered this year from the business community's perspective with a lot of hope that with a new governor and a new legislature that we would see a lot of activity around the state budget. You know, I think the lead for a lot of people and certainly for our members was the proposal by the governor to fix the roads. It's been a priority for our members for decades, frankly, to get a real road funding solution fixed. So I think the fact that we've moved this far along the process and we still haven't seen activity on getting a road solution put in place is disappointing. But I do think, you know, we've seen some signs of optimism that at least we can fix the problems that were in the budget that the legislature passed and that the governor did the line item vetoes. I think, you know, one issue that sticks out for our members is the Going Pro Talent Fund that the governor vetoed out of there. That's something that is incredibly useful, incredibly important. You know, I've been doing this for a long time. I don't know that I've seen a training program from the state more popular than that. So I think getting that put back in place along with the road funding is going to be vitally important here over the next several weeks.
Brad, your expertise in this area is much, much better than mine. But is some of that stuff out of there as a bargaining chip? In other words, a political maneuver rather than somebody really saying we need this out of the budget?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look at the list of the items that the governor put in a line item veto, so many of them are things that she put in her executive budget.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's clear that philosophically, she's in support of them. But negotiations are difficult, and sometimes they create uncomfortable situations. I think we've seen that, you know, just over at General Motors over the last couple months, too, that negotiations can be difficult, but we're hopeful that the final conclusion is positive for both sides, and most importantly, for our members in the business community and the residents of Michigan.
Well, you know, I look at the Pure Michigan campaign and I say to myself, nobody in their right mind takes that out because of the proven ROI of it. And now we're having to endure Ohio tell us that they have zip lining in an amusement park. So it's kind of a competitive circumstance, too. What are your thoughts on maybe the timing of this? Because the budget seems to be coming piecemeal.
Yeah, well, I think one of the reasons the Pure Michigan ads work so well is because they're true. I don't care how many times Ohio buys ads telling me that it's a great place to stay. That no one's ever going to believe that. So let's dispose of that thought right away. But, you know, I think from a timing perspective, you know, we've got to be sensitive about this. People are making vacation plans, you know, far in advance. You know, I don't know right now that people are necessarily making vacation plans for next summer, but they are making decisions about what they're going to do over their Christmas break, and that can have an impact on ski resorts and regions that depend on snowmobiling and those sorts of things. So putting these things back in place sooner rather than later is important. Of course, though, in Michigan, our biggest tourism season is the summertime, and so, you know, we've got a bit of leeway there because I don't think most families are making their summer vacation plans right at this very moment, but every delay hurts.
Yeah, and you know as well as I do that business hates uncertainty. Let's talk a little bit about Raise the Age, what that is, and why it's a business issue.
Yeah, it's a question we get a lot, frankly, and we've been working here at the Detroit Regional Chamber on Department of Corrections issues since I came 11 and a half years ago. And it started partly because corrections takes up 20% of our state budget. And so if we want to appropriately talk about the cost of state government for taxpayers, you can't avoid corrections issues. But it also has to do with talent. Our members tell us day in and day out that having access to talent is top of mind for almost every business. And so this Raise the Age question really says, right now in Michigan, if you're 17 years old and commit a crime, you're automatically charged as an adult. We're one of only 4 states in the nation that do that. In most states, you don't get charged as an adult until you turn 18. And having been 17 a few years ago, I know 17-year-olds often are going to make really dumb mistakes. And now I didn't make any mistakes that would have landed me in jail, but these mistakes that a 17-year-old make, you put them in the adult correction system, which is not the best place for them. It does not reduce their likelihood to reoffend and creates a permanent record that eliminates them from consideration from many jobs.
Well, and especially in a time when we need talent so badly. Brad Williams, Vice President of Government Relations with the Detroit Regional Chamber of Commerce. Thanks for being with us, and thanks to all of our guests today, and of course, to all of you for being part of the Michigan Business Beat. I'm Chris Holman. For all of us from the Michigan Business Network, we wish you a very prosperous day.